This story is of a different world, where there live 4 nations who have their own superpowers. One of them is airbenders, who have the power to control the air. Second is firebenders, who can control fire anywhere. Then waterbenders, who can control water. Finally, earthbenders, who have the power to control the earth and its soil. All of these people may not fight using their powers. A war may not be started in this world. For them, they must have an avatar. It means a person who has the power to control air, water, fire, and earth, all the elements. It is known that firebenders have decided to rule this world. And that's why they are killing all the other benders. Avatar Ang will stop this war, who is currently an airbender. His master trains him for airbending, but Ang still doesn't know the truth about his avatar. That's why other airbenders are getting angry at Ang's master, that Ang should start his avatar training. Because now firebenders were trying to enter their territory and kill them. Master also tells Ang the truth about his avatar at the right time, and says that you have to complete your training soon and stop this atrocity from firebenders. Ang, who was only 12 years old, couldn't understand all this. He was so scared of this responsibility and told his master that he doesn't want to be an avatar. All these things make his mood bad. To fix this all, he talks to his pet and flies with him for the visit, while there was a fire attack in his area behind him. Firebenders destroyed the entire temple of airbenders in a short time. They also killed Ang's master along with all the airbenders. It was only Ang who survived, who went out to the city with his pet. But he also fell into the water after being stuck in the storm. Before he drowns in the water, we are shown that his avatar powers are awakened. There was a bright light coming out of the tattoo on his head. After this scene, 100 years pass in the story, and suddenly, the bright light comes out of the snowy mountain. The mountain bursts like a big explosion, from which Ang comes out. This was the area of the waterbenders, where the waterbender named Katara was training with her brother. Seeing this incident, both of them get scared and bring Ang to their temple. Ang's departure from here was seen by the Prince Zuko of the Firebenders, who was on a mission to find the avatar in the world. When Ang comes to his senses in the Waterbenders' temple, he tells his people everything that happened when there was a fire attack in his area. He went out from there on a visit, and after getting stuck in a storm, he came to his senses in this temple. An old lady of the Waterbenders says to him, "How can this happen? The attack you are talking about happened 100 years ago in this world. In which all the airbenders were killed. Their entire generation was killed. Even many waterbenders were killed in that war. Katara is the only real waterbender left in the tribe." After talking to Ang a little more, the old lady finds out that Ang is an avatar, and the last waterbender left in this world. Ang had also called his pet here. He stays here for a few days and becomes a good friend of Katara, waterbender, the one who had not yet learned to control her powers. Ang, while controlling his soul and emotions, tells her the skill of focusing, with the help of which she is now able to do waterbending well. On the other side, the Prince of Waterbenders, Zuko, comes with his uncle to the village of waterbenders to catch Avatar Ang. When he asks the villagers to hand over Ang to him, then to save him, Katara's brother challenges Zuko to fight. Zuko was a trained firebender, while in front of him was a common man whom he had easily lost before he kills the boy in front of him to end the fight. Aang comes in front of him and goes with them. Aang was put in the jail of the ship. Aang here, using his airbending skills very easily, steals the keys of his prison and deceives the soldiers here, gets out of the prison and visits Zuko's ship. Where he gets the book of Zuko written on Avatar. As soon as he steals and flies from the ship, he comes into the sight of Zuko. Zuko was attacking Aang with fire. While saving, before he fell into the water, Katara and her brother reached on his pet there to save Aang. These people go to the temple of the airbenders, where everything was destroyed. When Aang sees his master's bones, he is in a bad condition due to sadness and anger. In this condition, all the power of the Avatar awakens again, while controlling his heart, which he controlled with great difficulty. He was crying a lot. At this time, Katara encourages him. Aang says that because of me, my world ended 100 years ago. But now I will not repeat the first mistake. I will now complete the training of the Avatar. Prince Zuko's book written on the Avatar, which he stole from the ship. Through it he finds out that to start the training of the Avatar, he has to awaken all the powers of the previous avatars. So first they go to the temple of the Quasi-Avatar, which was near an island. But when they go there, the people of the island were about to attack them and catch them. Suddenly a light shines on Aang from the Quasi statue. The people of the island are surprised to see this and bring them to their leader. She tells Aang and Aang's companions that actually they do not have any bending powers, because of which they cannot save themselves. That's why they don't let any stranger come to their island. Aang says that I only want to know about the Quasi-Avatar and awaken their powers, because I'm also an Avatar. They agree to help him after hearing this. And at night, Zuko reaches there after following them and tells the people of the island that we have come here to catch a criminal. The next day, Aang goes back to the Quasi's statue. And this time, when the light falls on him from the statue, he suddenly reaches the world of souls and meets the Quasi-Avatar, who tells him that the world has come to this state as you didn't get Avatar training. And even now if you don't train, then the area of the waterbenders will be destroyed. Quasi showed its visions to Aang as well. She says that you have to train by being alone, leaving everyone's support, because the people around us are our weakness, and the Avatar cannot be weak. After a while, Quasi uses her Avatar powers, captures Aang's body, and comes to the human world to help the people. Where she came to know that her people are in trouble, and the firebenders attack them. Earlier, Katara was fighting Zuko, and she wanted to beat him up. Because she herself wasn't trained, she couldn't do it. In a short while, Quasi uses the bending powers from 4 elements and sends all the firebender soldiers away. Everyone was scared and ran away, after which Quasi leaves Aang's body, and Aang comes to his real state. The villagers thank Aang because they saw Aang fighting their enemies. After that, Aang goes to the area of the waterbenders with his companions, because Quasi told him that the area of the waterbenders is going to be attacked. So he learns waterbending and decides to save the area. In this scene, After Kwasi's defeat in the island, Zuko meets Zuko's army, who were apologizing for not supporting him. This man says to Zuko that if you had told us about the meeting of the Avatar, we would have supported you. Zuko says to this man that you know this, but don't tell this to anyone. But he told this news to Zuko's father, the king of the firebenders. As he hears this news and tells his daughter that Zuko is becoming capable, he has found the Avatar. After hearing this, Zuko's sister should have been happy. But she wasn't happy because she wanted to become the queen of the firebenders. And one of the ways was to become more capable than Zuko. While flying towards the area of the waterbenders, Aang finds an airbender like him, who was flying in the air. Aang immediately follows him and comes to a city where all the earthbenders lived, who could control the earth, stones, and soil. Poor Aang gets a little sad after seeing this. That the child he saw flying was not an airbender, but a scientist's son, and was flying with the help of a gadget given by his dad. These people also meet a scientist, who tells them that the firebenders often make explosions. To save them, he has made a lot of inventions. He also made a lot of weapons for the king. The scientist's son says to Aang that you are an airbender, you can help us. On the other hand, the firebenders also know the news of this flying boy. In an area of the earthbenders, a boy is seen flying. He must be an airbender. The Prince Zuko of the firebenders decides to come to the city of the earthbenders with his uncle. And in this city, Katara finds out about a boy who was spying for the firebenders. And when she follows them with her friend, she gets caught by them. All the firebenders attack her. She quickly defeats them with her friend. On the other hand, her brother along with a scientist succeed in making the design of a big air balloon. In any city, Aang finds out that the firebenders do not attack with their own fire, but they use a special chemical in this city to make fire attacks and explosions. And surely someone in their city helps the firebenders. The boy An, who was included in this attack, Aang tells his name. Katara knows him. With him, she defeated the firebenders. She finds that boy a good person, but when she goes out and talks to the boy again, the boy tells her his plan, that how they will take the scientist's stuff to the king and turn it into a bomb, as a result of which the king will die. Katara can't believe to hear this, that the boy she trusted could be so bad. She now goes with Aang to save the king, where Aang meets Zuko. These people come to the city while fighting. When Zuko attacks Aang with his fire, the city catches the fire, which Aang was trying to extinguish with his airbending skills. When the earthbenders hear about the firebenders' arrival, their soldiers come to catch the firebender. And then Zuko's uncle shows his firebending skills to all the soldiers. So that all their attention does not go to the prince. As a result, the uncle and Aang both got caught. During this time, when the firebender's companion to kill the king was about to attack with a fire arrow on a box with a bomb, Katara uses her waterbending skills, extinguishes the arrow and saves the prince. Here Katara's brother asks the scientist, "Why are you doing something against the king?" To which he replies, "I am compelled to do this. The firebenders have threatened to kill my son." Katara tells Aang to leave this all. We have to go to the palace to save Aang and the scientist tells them about the secret path to the palace. Which goes to the jail. The scene is cut and we are shown a past scene. 100 years ago, when Ang was young, he had a very good friend, and he was an earthbender. The best thing was that the king of the earthbenders was Ang's 100-year-old childhood friend, who now got old. But he recognizes Ang at a glance. Here Katara and her brother, who are going to jail from a secret path to save Ang. A secret tunnel comes in their way, outside of which they also met a man who told them that you can cross this path with your love. But these two siblings, who did not trust each other, get lost in this tunnel. When they move ahead with great difficulty. They face a monster. They hold hands in fear. As they do this, the monster becomes silent. Katara understands that it is because of their love. When she asks the way out of the monster breaks the wall and makes a way. And now we are shown Ang, who was facing the king of the earthbenders. The king was quite angry because their world was destroyed because of Ang 100 years ago. To take revenge, he attacks Ang using all his earth-bending powers. He can hardly save himself, on which the king tells him in anger that you still think like a child, not like an avatar, and you are doing strange things with children. But Ang replies that I am not thinking anything wrong this time. I'll save this world from destruction at any cost this time. And I will need you for this task. Hearing this, the king leaves him happily. It is shown that Zuko's uncle is being taken to the new jail from the forest. On the way, Zuko attacks the earthbender soldiers and gets his uncle released. And we are shown a scene from the past, in which we learn about Zuko and his uncle's relationship. Zuko took care of him like a son. Zuko, from his father's side, was punished not to come to their area till finding Avatar. The uncle decided to come with him, and they were together. They kill all the soldiers with their firebending skills, while on the other side, we are shown that Ang and Katara have left for the waterbenders. Ang tells Katara that you have learned waterbending very well. Katara replies that I was with the help of my grandfather's book, increasing my waterbending skills. On the way, during their talks, they see fire in the jungle. When they get down and check, there was a small village. A man tells Ang that there were some monsters here who used to make humans disappear. And then the firebenders attacked here and destroyed our area. Ang was also feeling the energy of another dimension. The scene cuts and we are shown Zuko's sister in the city of firebenders, who was telling her dad that he should find the Avatar with the help of the army general. Her dad says, "Alright, you can try this. Whatever will bring the Avatar first will be the king of this place, whether you do it first or Zuko. But remember that Zuko is moving ahead very fast." The girl gets very angry to hear this. While in this scene we are shown that in the destroyed village, where Ang was feeling the energy of the other dimension, he uses his avatar skills, takes his soul and his friends' souls to the other dimension, where a strange monster comes in front of them. Who had thrown them away by beating them, and was screaming very loudly. In this world, Katara's brother finds a fox who tells him that the monster you have seen is in a lot of pain. Remove it from the pain and all your problems will be solved. Here it is shown that Katara is seeing her mom in this world. She wants to go to her mom, but suddenly the firebenders attack her. To save her, Katara's mom hides Katara in a place. And then the firebenders burn her mom in front of her eyes and kill her. This was her childhood memories, in which she was completely lost. That suddenly a new monster comes in front of her and imprisons her dot in this world. Katara's brother also gets some thoughts, where his father and uncle are talking to each other, that this boy is useless. He can't be a master. These thoughts hurt him. He also gets lost in these thoughts. And suddenly that monster who had imprisoned Katara also imprisons her brother. Now Ang was also seeing his airbender's temple in this world. But he understands in a second that this can't happen. This is just an illusion. He puts all his focus to see what is there actually. And he sees a monster who says to him that you have come in front of me after so many years, that you have escaped from my illusion. Otherwise, whoever comes under my trap, I imprison them. I have known that you are an avatar. I have fought many avatars before. He asks him if he has brought anything. Ang says, no, I have come here to save my friends. As soon as he says this, a fight starts between him and the monster. But Ang, who was a soul here, was not able to use his powers. So he gets lost from this monster and comes to a house after running from their where he meets his master. He hugs him and says, where did you go? I need you. Now Ang asks him, how can I save my friends from this monster? Master says that this monster imprisons people with their old memories. But avatars don't get trapped in this. Last time a Fire Nation avatar gave them a good fight and stole their something precious. If you want to save your friends, then go and get that thing of the monster. But firebenders were his enemies. Going to their area could have been dangerous for Ang. But Ang didn't have any other option. So he quickly comes back to the real world from world of the soul and goes to the area of firebenders. Here a man, a firebender who thought that there should be peace between all the firebenders. He agrees to help Ang and brings Ang to his avatar temple, where there were a lot of things of avatar. But Ang was not able to understand what would be the most important thing of the monster. Before he picks up anything, other firebenders come here to catch Ang. Good firebender says to Ang, do your work, I will take care of them. He tries to take care of those firebenders, while Ang, by using his avatar powers, meets the avatar of firebenders who tells him that I have the statue of the monster's mother. He comes back to the real world and picks up the statue and was about to go to the monster. When another monster attacks Ang. This monster was of a bounty hunter who Zuko and his uncle hired to catch the avatar. Ang comes in their custody. Ang tells them to give me some time. I'll have to save my friends, then I will come back to you. Zuko replies that the thought of saving others makes us weak. And this is how we are shown a past scene, where Zuko's dad was making a strategy to fight in the war, according to which he will kill a lot of his own soldiers and distract the enemy and kill them. But in this thought, Zuko said that we should not let our people die. Because of questioning his strategy, Zuko's dad tells him that you will be punished for this. The scene cuts and we are shown present that Zuko's dad sent his army in front of Zuko, who was telling him to hand over the avatar to us, or else we have orders to kill you. Zuko had to hand over the avatar to his dad's soldiers unwillingly. They take Ang to a temple and tie him. and someone comes to save him at night. Here we are shown a fight in which Ang and his soldiers fight with other soldiers and disappear. Ang sees that Zuko was the only one to save him. He is surprised and tells Zuko that you are so good that you helped me, even though you were my enemy. And the book written on your avatar is also amazing. You're intelligent. Zuko says, don't be crazy. I am still your enemy, and I want to capture you by myself and take you to my area. Saying this, Zuko attacks Ang, and both of them start fighting each other. Ang drops him down and tells him that I think you have a deep wound on your face and heart. And to know the story, we are shown in the past that Zuko's dad is fighting with Zuko. Zuko beats him up but still can't kill him, on which his dad tells him that the desire to save others makes us weak. Zuko proved himself weak by not beating up his dad. But before this, he raised a question on his dad's strategy, and his dad punishes him for both things by burning his one eye. The scene is cut and we are shown in the present. Ang sends Zuko to a boat and tells him that I will meet you after saving my friends. Zuko attacks him with fire, which has no effect on Ang. The scene is cut and we are shown in the past. When Zuko's eye was burnt, his dad tells him that he had to save a batch of soldiers. And now it is your punishment that you will leave this area with that batch. Until you find an avatar. We are shown in the new scene that Ang has returned to the burnt village and reached the other dimension, and returns the lost statue to the monster. In return, the monster frees all the humans. Ang finds Katara and her brother. He was happy to see by this that the villagers were happy to meet their lost people. They finally reach the Waterbenders area, where all the Waterbenders are happy to see the avatar, because they know that the Firebenders are going to attack them. And because of the avatars being here, they will be able to win the battle. In the Firebenders area, Zuko's sister is fighting with some people. She uses her firebending skills, and her dad tells her that you too slow and useless. And she gets angry after hearing this. And she tells her friends that I know everything. This is my dad's trap, because he doesn't want me to be the queen. He wants his son, Zuko, to be the king. But I am more capable, and I will prove it. In the area of the Waterbenders, when the big Waterbenders talk to Ang and think about the war strategy, Ang tells him that I'm still too young for all this, and I still take the help of my friends. And he gets angry to hear this and tells him that, what kind of avatar you are? A useless avatar. Who needs the help of his friends in his tasks. Although an avatar should be so powerful that he can face any problem alone. Ang was very sad to hear this all. Katara, who was a good firebender, when she meets the people here, she learns that women here don't even participate in war, but they use their waterbending to improve the health of the people. And Katara thinks this is wrong. Here Ang meets a new avatar to activate their powers. And this avatar tells Ang that you are making the same mistake I did. I also started helping people in the world of souls. And that's why people still don't respect me. And this is happening to you. You should leave your friends and focus on training. In the area of the Waterbenders, Katara's brother meets a girl with white hair, and he thinks that he has met her before. And he remembers that he met this girl in the world of souls, in the form of a fox. who asked him to help the monster. But it was so weird that a girl is in the world of souls and in the real world. And this girl tells him that I used to be very sick in my childhood. That's why my dad asked the soul of the moon for help. And with the help of the moon, we can do waterbending. And the moon gave me a part of its soul, because of which I am alive, and can go to the world of souls from this world of humans. In the area of firebenders, Juko's sister showed her dad her firebending skills, in which she also took out electricity from her hands. And her dad gets happy. While in this scene we are shown firebenders were moving forward to attack the area of waterbenders. They also had an air balloon, in which there was the general of firebenders. Waterbenders were also mentally ready for this war, but they did not have such a big army that they could face the firebenders. Then Katara advises them that women should also take part in this war. To prove her point, she fights with the chief here, with her good waterbending skills. And she proves that women can also take part in this war. Here it is an attack. Katara, and everyone start to stop this attack. But Zuko's uncle tells his general that today is the full moon. Waterbenders get their strength from the moon. That's why today they can't lose to you. And then the general tells Zuko's uncle that my plan is not to defeat them. But my plan is something else. I know that such a moon comes once a year, and the day the moon is round and shiny like this, that day the soul of the moon and the soul of the sea meet at the back of the waterfall. He says that I will kill both the souls. Zuko's uncle tells the general that this is a very wrong idea. By doing this, there can be a huge loss in the world of souls and in this world. There can be destruction. But the general says that I don't care about this. He now goes to the lake to find the soul of the moon, while on the other side, Zuko has come here to catch Aang, with which Katara is now fighting. And this time, Katara with her waterbending skill has captured Zuko easily. At the same time, the general starts killing the soul of the moon. Zuko's uncle tells him that the power of the soul of the moon is more than an avatar. You won't be able to kill it. But the general catches the soul of the moon to kill the waterbenders. The moon suddenly turned red. Later, the man kills the waterbenders with his magical dagger, and thus the moon turns black. The power of the waterbenders also ends with the moon. The firebenders become powerful, and they start attacking and destroying their area. Even the temple of the waterbenders also breaks. This is exactly the same scene that Kwasi showed in Aang's vision. Aang wanted to save the people here, but then he remembers Kwasi's words. Aang should stop worrying about the people and should focus on himself, and should arise his powers. As soon as he thinks this, he goes in the middle of the sea. And gives his soul to the sea. The soul of an avatar and the sea together becomes a huge monster, after which he starts destroying all the ships of the firebenders. Zuko sees this and moves forward to fight him. And seeing Zuko alive, the general of the firebenders gets angry because he killed Zuko. They both stop fighting the avatar. And start fighting each other. Zuko beats him a lot. And when he defeats him, the man asks Zuko, "What do you think if you take this avatar? Will your dad make you a king?" "No, he is making you a fool." He keeps you ahead and instigate your sister, because of which she is becoming more powerful than you. He wants to make her the real queen. And why am I your enemy? Because this is also your dad's order. After this scene, we are shown the girl who was alive because of the soul of the moon, whom we saw in the box in the world of souls. She was still talking to Katara's brother. She tells Katara's brother that once the moon gave me a piece of her soul. And made me alive. And today the moon needs me. As soon as she says this, she sinks into the water. She gives her soul to the sea and the moon. And once again the moon comes back to life and shines in the sky. Despite everything being fine, Aang was still in the form of a monster. Because of the destruction of this area of the Waterbender, he was still angry. When Katara tells him, Aang, you are very good. You are our companion. We are your family. We aren't making you weak, but we're your power. Don't waste yourself. The people here need you. After hearing all this, Aang's anger cools down, and he comes out of the water in the form of a very powerful avatar. But even when he came out, he was sad. He felt that all the destruction here happened because of him. But his companions tell him that he did not destroy it, but the firebenders did. He has saved the lives of many people here and saved the world from great danger. Aang says that now I will just forget the old things and focus on my journey ahead. In which Katara was going to help him by teaching water and airbending. The scene is cut and we see Zuko and his uncle, who still did not know what to do because they had been deceived by their own father and brother. On the other hand, Zuko's dad, who gets the news that despite destroying many areas of the waterbenders, the firebenders have lost to them. He is not surprisingly angry to hear this news and tell their people that this was just their trick. He never wanted to destroy the area of the waterbenders. He just wanted the avatars' attention, goes on saving the area of the waterbenders, whereas from behind, they had captured the area of the earthbenders. That too through his daughter. Here his people ask him what will happen to Zuko. Zuko's dad says nothing. Sometimes we have to sacrifice such weak people for big things. After capturing the area of the earthbenders, Zuko's sister was very happy. And at the end of the story, we see Zuko's dad telling his companions that now a fireball is going to pass over the earth. Because of which his powers will increase even more. And this story ends here.